Welcome to the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
The home to audio dramas created by the Three Ranger Bros themselves.
Here they have built stories as a team, coming together with their storytelling ability and creating new tales and adventures for you guys to listen to.
These stories have been worked on by the Three Bros, and here we have a channel dedicated to them.
All the stories in this channel have been worked on by all three bros. Each story is crafted.
Then they make their own unique original characters, which they will do the voices of.
They explore many different fandoms and give unique takes and ideas within their favorite fictional worlds.
And best of all, they have created this channel to invite you, the listener, to join them in these fantastic tales. So strap in and dive into the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
Power Rangers Global, Chapter 5, Chimera's Rampage. Brohan had collected the Rangers team into the library. Everyone looked at him rather confused. Okay, I understand your confusion. See, one of the benefits of having figured out how the Zord's teleportation system works, I can now use the same technology to teleport you lot across the world. There are other buildings, other museums under my name, under the business name, that no one's ever going to be able to walk into yet because they're still under construction. So that being said, this library now works as your teleportation door, which allows you to go across the world when needed, Brohan explained.
That would be very beneficial,
Mark replied. So you really think we're going to need to go to other countries? Lip asked.
If the gods attack a country that is not under their worship, the earth would fall under chaos. There is no point in Loki trying to rule the planet if it gets destroyed.
Himiko muttered.
So where do we go first?
Elias asked.
Somewhere with less sound, hopefully.
Eric moaned. Well, that brings me to my next point. Loki has started causing chaos in some of these other countries, turning a handful of mythical creatures into monsters. We have to stop them. The more fear-made, of course, the worse it gets, Brohan told everybody. Yeah, there's always a catch. Lip sighed.
Again, I shall ask. Where are we going?
Elias blurted. You're going to Athens. There's a rumor going around of a monster with 3 heads, Brohan told them.
Oh, I've always wanted to go to Greece.
Himiko cheered with a few small celebratory claps. Everyone, look here, Brohan said, pointing at the wall-sized bookshelf. Hey dude, one of your books is out of shape, color. It doesn't fit your bookshelf, Lip pointed out.
It's on purpose, dumbass.
Himiko said with an eye roll. Himiko walked up to the oddly colored book that did not match the rest of the bookshelf and pulled the book out, but instead of coming out of the shelf, it moved down like a lever, and everyone was teleported away.
Okay, if someone won't make a Wizard of Oz Toto Kansas reference, then I'm heading home.
Eric mocked. Everyone walked out of the new library. The archway that led into the museum was closed off with yellow tape. So now that you're in Athens, have a look around. I'll keep an eye on you from here, and help where I can, Brohan said over their communicators.
Our superhero adventure has shifted to a detective drama. Better watch your backs.
Elias joked.
Did you guys hit your heads during training, or did you drink some of the desert cactus juice?
Himiko snapped. Are you okay? Lip asked.
Yeah, you have been acting weird.
Eric chimed in.
I am nervous, okay? You guys been Rangers for a while, or at least been around them. I don't know what I'm doing. I am the book-smart, clever one. I am no fighter. What if I mess up?
Himiko confessed.
Hey, you may be book smart, but we have all seen you as a ranger. You do a good job of that as well.
Eric said supportively.
You could say she's also Ranger smart.
Mark said with a cheeky grin. Dude, no, corny jokes are Elias's thing, Lip replied.
Yeah, man. Spotlight. You took it. I am now in the darkness.
Elias chuckled dramatically.
I thought it was funny.
Mark shrugged. Everyone looked at each other for a moment, and everyone then started laughing. They all had then left the closed-down library and walked around the town. People kept to themselves. They all looked at the team with fear or rather odd looks, and they all started walking around with some haste, avoiding the group.
People are scared.
Mark said.
What are we even looking for?
Eric asked with a huff. Elias walked up to a woman whose back was turned away from him.
Hey there. Wondering if you've seen a monster. Most likely trying to destroy stuff, spreading the fear of gods into people.
Elias asked the random stranger. No, cannot talk to strangers. The Chimera is not normal. It's monstrous now. It's trying to scare... I've said too much. The woman choked, then she ran off.
Well, that was weird.
Elias said.
Did she say Chimera?
Eric asked.
I only know that it has a head of a lion, goat, and snake.
Himiko stated.
You mean it's turned into a monster with 3 faces?
Mark asked. So we know it's the Chimera, Lip stated. Then people started screaming suddenly. Everyone ran away and the team all ran towards the source of the screaming. They found the Chimera monster. Its body was brown and armoured. Its main head looked like a lion. Its left arm was white with a goat-shaped shoulder pad and 2 blades coming off of its wrist looking like 2 horns. The right arm was all green and the base of the arm looked like a tree branch that wrapped around it, and then came off around the wrist was a snake-themed whip. The end of the whip had a snake head.
Alright guys, we might be in a different country, but we can go sightseeing later. We got an ugly sight for sore eyes to deal with first.
Mark stated. Does anyone know what a Chimera even is? Lip muttered.
Dude, I just explained it to you.
Himiko barked.
He was dissing the monster, Himiko.
Eric told her. Himiko looked away, feeling rather awkward.
Boss, lead the way.
Elias told Mark.
It's morphin' time!
Mark called out. Mark held out his Cornish power morpher, and it popped open.
Kono Bisficken!
Mark called out. Then the morpher dematerialized, leaving the coin floating there. Mark then morphed into his ranger suit. His helmet formed over his head. Then the coin started spinning and it flew at Mark, hitting Mark in the chest. The coin shattered, and Mark's Cornish chest shield formed around him. Mark had morphed into the red Cornish Ranger. Eric held out his fist. His green Celtic ring started to glow.
Nire knock, kill Chuck!
Eric called out. Then he held up his fist into the air and suddenly a Celtic rune formed above him. He then lowered his arm and the rune lowered itself down and it phased over Eric, his ranger suit forming over him as the rune descended down. As the rune touched the ground, it vanished. Eric had morphed into the gold Celtic Ranger. Elias pulled off his necklace and crushed the crystal in his hand. The energy that came from the crystal formed into a sword sheathed in its shield. Elias grabbed the handle which extended from the top of the shield and pulled the sword out and held it up to the sky.
The Odenskraft Vodven Veda.
Elias called out. Then the blue energy seeped out of its blade and it formed around him. Then the energy formed into his ranger suit. His horns grew from his helmet as he sheathed his sword. Elias had morphed into the blue Viking Ranger. Lip held out his arm. Ra appeared behind him and sunk his talons into his forearm. White veins rippled through his wrist, and a wristbound morpher appeared in the shape of a falcon head. Lip then held out his black crystal scarab. Its wings opened and the key extended. He then opened the falcon's mouth and placed the key inside and then closed the mouth down. Capra! Lip called out. Then the falcon eyes started to glow and the energy wave pulsed from his morpher and it wrapped around Lip's entire body, forming into his ranger suit. Ra, the god of the sun, then merged into Lip's body and his helmet formed around his head. Lip had morphed into the white Egyptian Ranger of Ra. Himiko grabbed the cherry blossom hairpin that kept her hair up, and she pulled it out, her hair draping over her shoulders.
Attention time. Neo no mayo no temi me.
Himiko called out. Then the tip of the pin started glowing. She dropped the pin and it sank into the ground through a veil of light. Then Himiko was encased in a giant flower bud. The pink flower started to glow, and it opened. The flower exploded in a flurry of petals. Himiko stood there in her ranger suit. She had morphed into the pink Japanese ranger. The red Cornish ranger swung his power axe and hit the monster, but the Chimera monster stood there not fazed by the attack at all. Then the pink Japanese ranger threw several shurikens at the monster, but they just bounced off of it. The red Cornish ranger swung his axe once again, but the Chimera monster blocked the attack, then struck the ranger down with its horned blades. The gold Celtic ranger stabbed the monster with his javelin. The monster just ignored the strikes. Then the whip unraveled all by itself and moved on its own and lashed out at the gold ranger and struck the gold ranger down. It bit onto his forearm and holding him in place. The blue Viking ranger swung his sword down the monster, locking the blades between its own. With a quick flick of the wrist, he disarmed the blue Viking ranger.
You rangers are nothing!
The Chimera monster chuckled.
Oh, look, it talks.
The gold Celtic ranger muttered. The Ranger of Ra came swooping in, with his fist aimed, but the Chimera monster lashed out his snake whip and wrapped around the Ranger of Ra's arm. Then the Chimera swung the Ranger around and flung him into the blue Viking Ranger. Both Rangers crashed to the ground.
Get off me, dude.
The blue Viking Ranger grunted. Yeah, sorry, the Ranger of Ra grunted. Both the Rangers climbed to their feet as the pink Japanese Ranger and the red Cornish Ranger both summoned their swords and struck the monster, but their swords just bounced off the monster's armor. Then the red Cornish Ranger noticed a thin veil of green energy vibrating around the Chimera.
It has a magical veil around it, acting like a second set of armor.
The red Cornish Ranger barked. That's why it's taking all of our hits, the red Ranger of Ra replied. All the Rangers grouped up as the Chimera monster walked up to a statue of Poseidon. The snake whip lashed out and wrapped around the statue. Then with one quick pull, the whole statue came tumbling down and broke into pieces.
I will destroy all the god statues,
the Chimera monster called out. Then the monster faded away, disappearing from the battle. Everyone sighed and demorphed. Hang on, let me get this straight. He wants to destroy statues? Lip questioned.
Well, the gods don't really treat the mythical creatures nicely,
Eric muttered.
Maybe once they're turned into monsters, all negative emotions are brought forward. The Chimera clearly has a vendetta against the gods. So maybe it's lashing out, tearing down all monuments of the gods in a way of showing its hatred?
Elias stated.
I think I saw a library back there. I'm going to see if there's any way to beat a Chimera. See if it can give any insight.
Himiko told the boys.
Good plan. The rest of us can look for more monuments. Any of them are potential targets.
Mark ordered. The four boys then walked off, and Himiko headed for the library. It was a small building, nice and rustic looking. She walked in and started strolling through the ancient history section. She found one book on creatures of Greece. Himiko then realised why there was going to be a new library of ancient history opening up later on, but the information on the Chimera was very bleak. Himiko huffed to herself, then she turned around as she knocked over some books.
Oh, damn it!
Himiko grunted. She knelt down and started picking up the books when suddenly a blonde-haired boy came up to her and started helping her.
Thanks, but it's okay. It was my fault,
Himiko said.
It's okay. I work here.
The guy replied. They picked up the books and stacked them once again. Then Himiko started to leave, but when she had a thought, she turned around and walked up to the librarian.
Hey, you wouldn't have any more books on the Chimera, would you?
She asked him.
I don't think so, no. Why on earth would you need information on the Chimera?
The guy replied.
I am helping the Power Rangers?
Himiko lied.
Well, if that's the case, again, we don't have any books, but I do know that back in the day, the Chimera was beaten by having its tail cut off.
The guy told her.
You mean the snake?
Himiko questioned.
Yes, the snake. Cut the head off and you weaken the Chimera.
The guy replied.
That might work. Sorry, I gotta go.
Himiko blurted, and then she ran off and bolted out of the library.
Guys, I think I know how to beat it.
Himiko said into her communicators.
Perfect timing. We found it attacking a monument wall dedicated to Zeus.
Mark told her over the communicator.
I am on my way. I will meet you there.
Himiko told them. Hey! What do you think you're doing? Listening to this filth? You should be listening to the Zero to Hero podcast right this instant. It will give you the brain-numbing, blood-pumping thrill that drinking 12 espressos, 12 shots of vodka, and looking at a unicorn for the first time would give you. I swear to God, Billy and Jim pour their blood, their sweat, their tears, and the gold that they found in the Garden of Eden into their podcast. And you sit here, you're not listening to it. Are you insane? Go over to the Zero to Hero podcast now and listen to it. God damn it, I have to do everything around here. Duh. The team had all morphed, and the Power Rangers all grouped and found the Chimera monster punching the memorial wall made out of stone that dedicated to Zeus.
Excuse me, but you're not allowed to touch the merchandise.
The Blue Viking Ranger called out.
Time to end this.
The Red Cornish Ranger barked. The Chimera monster turned around to face the Power Rangers.
Why do you try to stop me? The gods are against you too.
The Chimera monster growled.
Some of them good, being forced to fight against their will.
The Gold Celtic Ranger replied.
Lies!
The Chimera monster roared, then it ran at the Rangers. The Blue Viking Ranger swung his sword across the ground, then swung it up, and a splash of water erupted out of the ground, hitting the monster, which threw it up into the air. The Ranger of Ra flew in and struck the monster, but it managed to block each strike. It landed on the ground safely, then it lashed out with its snake whip. It flew at the Red Cornish Ranger, who rolled to one side, summoning his power bow and firing arrows at the monster. Then the pink Japanese Ranger teleported next to the snake and swung her katana down and cut the snake's head off. Then all the Rangers watched as the semi-visible veil that wrapped around the monster slowly disappeared. It phased away. The Chimera monster stood there, shocked, looking at the Ranger. It growled, then ran at the Rangers at full swing, and swung its two goat horn blades. The Blue Ranger jumped in the way and blocked the attack with its shield. Then the Red Cornish Ranger and the Blue Viking Ranger both slashed the monsters with their swords. As it stumbled backwards, the Ranger of Ra hovered above the monster and flapped his wings. A gust of wind erupted with several bladed feathers rained on the monster. The Gold Celtic Ranger slammed his javelin into the monster's back, then glided the tip of the javelin across the ground, tripping it over. The pink Japanese Ranger then jumped into the air. She held out her cherry blossom petal and threw it. It started glowing and formed into a big shuriken. The big pink shuriken struck the fallen monster. It roared out in pain, then exploded. Then the Rangers all began cheering. Suddenly, a portal opened, and Nephis walked out of it. The Rangers clocked her and all dropped into their fighting stances. Oh, please, I'm just here to do this, Nephis barked. Then she held out an eye of Anubis, and a red beam shot out of it and hit the spot where the monster exploded, and in a surge of purple and red liquid, the monster formed once again, but this time it was gigantic. The Rangers looked at the gigantic monster, then turned to see Nephis, who had gone, and the portal closed.
Global Zords, assemble!
The Red Cornish Ranger called out. Then suddenly the 5 Global Zords appeared.
Himiko, take the lead on this one.
The Red Cornish Ranger told the pink Japanese Ranger.
You sure about this?
The pink Ranger asked, unsure of herself.
Absolutely. Without your information, we would be screwed. You deserve this.
The Red Cornish Ranger told her. The pink Ranger nodded, then all the Rangers jumped up and entered their Zords.
Let's bring them together, guys.
The pink Japanese Ranger commanded. The Night Zord jumped off the horse Zord, which split into 2 pieces. One piece became the pelvis, and the other piece split again and became shoulder pads. The Samurai Zord slotted into the torso and became the torso of the Megazord. The Pharaoh Zord and the Viking Zord transformed into the legs and attached themselves to the pelvis. The Knight Zord and the Warrior Zord transformed into the arms and attached themselves to the shoulder pads, forming the Global Megazord.
Global Megazord Samurai Formation!
The Pink Ranger called out. Then the Global Megazord stood there, ready. It drew its long bladed katana and struck the monster. The Chimera monster lashed out its whip, but the Global Megazord caught the whip and pulled it forward and swung the katana down, cutting the whip. Then the Global Megazord jumped up, and with the katana blade started glowing pink. The Megazord spun around and landed on the ground, then swung the blade down and sliced the monster with the glowing katana. The monster stumbled back and exploded once again. The Global Megazord stood there victorious. The Rangers all demorphed and were about to walk back to the closed-down library when suddenly an almighty roar came from behind them. They turned around to see the Chimera stood there.
That's actually a chimera.
Elias blurted. I'm kinda scared, but that's kinda cool, Lip called out.
Is it dangerous?
Eric asked.
I don't actually know.
Himiko muttered as they all stood there staring at the monster. Mark looked at the magnificent creature directly in its eyes.
It's fine, guys. I don't think it intends to harm us.
Mark told them. Then suddenly the Chimera let out a mighty roar. Then it ran off, bolting away, quickly disappearing from sight.
Looks like Loki just lost another soldier, and we saved a mythical creature.
Mark told them with a grin.
It's mad to think we are saving gods and creatures. It's actually insane.
Eric blurted.
It's normal to have gods around.
Himiko said with a raised eyebrow. Yeah, not where we're from. They're just all folklore and stories, Lip muttered.
So, are we headed home now?
Elias asked.
Brohan said there was a couple of these monsters made of mythical creatures, so we shall go and find them and deal with them, just like we did with the Chimera.
Mark stated. Everyone started walking towards the ancient history building when Himiko remembered the guy who helped her out, and she wanted to thank him.
You guys go on ahead. I will be there in a minute.
Himiko told them. Then she headed back to the small and rustic little library and found the guy placing books back onto their rightful places on certain shelves.
Hey there, I wanted to say thanks for earlier. Your insightful knowledge helped the Rangers out big time.
Himiko told him.
Hey, no problem. Happy to help.
The guy replied with a big grin. He walked up to Himiko and she noticed his eyes. They were purple, and Himiko could have sworn she saw a ripple of silver light rippling through his irises every couple of seconds.
Well, if you're ever in a jam, I know a lot about gods and creatures in most pantheons.
The guy told her.
I will remember that.
Himiko replied. Then she extended her hand out.
I am Himiko, by the way.
Himiko told him. The guy took her hand and shook it.
Call me Heimdall.
He replied. Himiko smiled at Heimdall. They said their goodbyes and Himiko headed back to the others. They all stood in the closed-down ancient library building and Mark pulled the book and they all teleported out of Athens.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by three cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Tai Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channels, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.